Hi, I'm Aubrey Sitterson, Community Manager for WWE Games. I'm here with Cory Ledesma, the Creative Director for WWE Games. And we've come together today to answer your questions about WWE 13. On sale October 30th. So let's get right into it, shall we? The first question comes from our forum user, Glass of Water. What was the main focus in the making of WWE 13? Like last year, it was the core mechanics. Please don't say the Attitude Era mode. Was the focus mainly on improving upon what was done with WWE 12? Cory.
That's a good question. Last year, definitely for WWE 12, was a focus on this new engine overhaul. I mean, it's such a big, large change that it does require a great amount of effort and focus on that. This year, I wouldn't say we have one giant focus that's all-encompassing. Everything is, directed towards that. We actually look at the individual pieces of the game. You have gameplay, which is a huge part, and they talked about, please tell me that next year, 13, you're still focusing on gameplay. Absolutely. We have the story mode, which is our Attitude Era campaign this year. We have the creation modes, we have online. So we don't just focus on one thing. Last year was kind of a special situation because it was the new engine. But we look at each individual area and see how we can improve them, how we can make them better, how we can add new features. So they mentioned Attitude Era, please. That's definitely not the whole focus of the game. It's still a current WWE game, it's a simulation game, so we didn't want that to be overshadowed in any way. It still has a full current roster. Gameplay is still a huge focus. So that's still alive and well in there. But our single player campaign, yeah, it's all about the Attitude Era, nice. Which is really cool. And I think fans are really going to dig it, whether you're fans back then or not. I think the hardcore fans that maybe watched back then will definitely appreciate that. We'll have that nostalgia there, that they can relive those moments. Fans that maybe weren't born yet or too young to remember that time, it's kind of an educational piece. It teaches you where these guys came from, how Stone Cold Steve Austin came to be where he is today. How he rose up and kind of dominated the wrestling scene at that time. So it serves as that cool piece. It's also a casual play too. Maybe you haven't played a game since N64 No Mercy, and it was the Attitude Era back then, and it's you want to relive that experience. You can do that in WWE 13. So I think it plays in a lot of cool different dynamics there.
Cool. But it's not just the Attitude Era.
It's not just the Attitude Era. I mean, we focus on everything, and we'll talk about the gameplay side. We'll talk about all the other sides. I know I just rambled on about the Attitude Era. I promise it's not all about that, but we focus on everything. We don't want any game area to be neglected.
Cool. Another question for you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
All right.
Good.
We're busy. We're in crunch mode right now, so we're working 14-hour days. Staring at our computer or the TV screen for that long, it's a little, your eyes are bleeding. And
just so you
I'm
know,
not complaining because I'm talking about playing WWE13 all day. It's not that bad.
I watch him. I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
We're doing good.
That was an Aubrey question. That wasn't a forum question. They do not care how you are.
I know they don't. I hear all about it.
I'll tell you what Monkey Wool cares about, though. Attitude Era. You can ramble some more about the Attitude Era. Because he asks, why, oh why, the Attitude Era?
It does not say that.
Are that
3 OYs in there? Wow, I can't believe 3 OYs.
There are 3 OYs, and then there are 4 Ys. And Monkey Wool asks, how will you make that work in a PG environment?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I know fans are, I'd say, a little worried about that because they know the Attitude Era was a lot edgier. It was a raunchy. There's some raunchy storylines in there, and it got a little crazy. We won't.
Do you have a favorite raunchy storyline?
I do, but I got to keep it PG.
Okay. Right to censor, folks.
No, we were very mindful of that. We wanted to make sure that we didn't really just make it all PG back then. That's not what it was, edgy, man. So we got to have that in the game. And now we don't go crazy. We don't really push the limits. We're gonna find a happy medium, happy zone in that area. It's not gonna be rated R. It's not gonna be PG. So it's gonna be somewhere in between. We find a good place for that, and I think fans will be happy about that. And really, the major storylines that we cover, they don't really talk about a lot of the super raunchy storylines in there. I mean, we're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, and what was going on with them. And we still have Austin's middle fingers in there. We still, they're blurred, but they're in there. And so we find a happy medium. I think fans will be happy.
Cool.
I'll just wrap it up with that.
Sort of tying in with that and sort of the the difficulties in covering a very non-PG era in a PG era. In Your House asks, has blood been improved in any ways? Is it still turned off by default?
It's still turned off by default. The blood's still in the game, though. That's the great news. We haven't taken it out, and it plays a role in the Attitude Era single-player campaign, actually, which is cool. You'll actually get a different experience whether you have it on or off. So I encourage you to play it both ways, on or off, and you get some different scenes in there, which is cool. But we haven't really spent a whole lot of time improving it. It's still in there. The blood still drips on the mat, and it looks great on the face, I thought. And it still rubs off on fists and on weapons, on chairs. You do a chair strike to a guy's all bloody, you'll see the blood on the chair. So it's still in there. It looks great, and we haven't done anything crazy with it. But yeah, fans will still be happy to hear it's in.
Nice. Another question. This question comes from Anthony1233, and I'm assuming this is a guy. Anthony,
that's a good.
We're living in the '90s. Who knows?
Your name's Aubrey, so
that's it. Your name's Cory.
That's right.
The world's turned upside down. Nobody knows what's going on anymore. So Anthony, she asks, will WCW arenas still be featured in the game?
Yeah, WCW is not a big feature in the game. I know the Monday Night Wars obviously feature WWE and WCW, but we focus on the WWE side of things. We really wanted to highlight their struggle, where they were getting beat down in the ratings, and they really had to rally up, and they were on the brink of bankruptcy, and so they had to really do something different to really spark a new kind of attitude in the WWE. So we wanted to focus all our time on that. So we have a lot of cool arenas from WWE back then, the pay-per-views, and we didn't really want to water that down or anything, or take away with the WCW side of things. So I know last year in WWE 12 we had a couple of WCW arenas, and I'm sure